All right, we're live. So this is LC Booster Club's monthly meeting for the month of February. And I have Dawn, our secretary. She is joining remotely, so you can see her face. I have everybody else with the exception of our vice president here in the room. So we're going to be passing the laptop when we get to each of our reports. So if you get a little motion sickness in there as we pass the laptop, I do apologize. But first and foremost, as the president, I want to thank you guys for joining us. And the purpose and the scope of Booster Club is really, the purpose is to support the students at Lewis and Clark through clubs, activities, and other needs. So we do some fundraising throughout the year and then try and support some of the extras for the clubs and activities at Lewis and Clark High School. And so with that, who can be a member of Booster Club? The answer is pretty much anyone. So staff can be members, teachers, coaches are welcome to join, parents, alumni. Really, it's open for anyone to be a part of. So keep that in mind and feel free to share and invite people to participate. We have monthly meetings with the exception of January. We don't generally have a meeting in the month of January, but other than that, we do allocations. So coaches and club reps can nudge their coaches to put in allocation requests for their clubs and their teams throughout the year. You can pretty much apply year round, but we actually have allocation meetings 4 times a year. We've already had one. This is kind of because of COVID. It's an unusual year, so we didn't do our allocation meeting in September because there were no allocation needs at that time. We did do allocations in the month of December, and they were very little. We were supposed to have an allocation meeting this month, but because the students haven't gone back in person and some of the clubs and activities are not actually meeting, we decided to push that back till March so that we can get a better idea of which clubs might have different needs. So we're going to move those deadlines. And did we decide the deadline for the allocation requests are going to be March 1st? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So any coaches out there that are listening or watching, if you have a need for your club or activity, you have until March 1st to get those in. And you can go to our Booster Club website, and there's a little link there so that you can fill out the form, and then it comes to us so that we can get it reviewed and ready to go for that allocation meeting. So we plan on also having a final one in May. May 10th will be our final meeting for the school year, and that will be an allocation meeting as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our secretary, Dawn, and she's going to read the minutes from our December meeting. Again, keep in mind, we did not have a meeting in the month of January, so these minutes were from our last Booster Club meeting in December.
Okay. Our last meeting was December 7th. That meeting also streamed virtually, and the main part of that meeting was an allocation meeting. So the allocation requests were from Cheer, who requested $310. That allocation request was fully funded and also fully covered by choice dollars. The Skateboard Club, a new club at LC, requested $250, and that request was fully funded. The Robotics Club requested $1,500, and that request was tabled until Dave and the coach could learn what the level of district support was for robotics, and then, if needed, the Booster Club would supplement. Other approved expenses from the December meeting were Invest Ed, which is also known as the Needy Child Fund. Booster Club annually contributes $500 towards this fund, and we again approved that $500 expense. And Citizens for Spokane Public Schools have requested a $500 support for the levy, and that $500 request was approved. Spirit Gear report was basically just that the Spirit Gear is available online, and that appears to be working pretty well, and that we are still working to get pictures of all the items added to the site. The athletic director report, Dave shared basically not too much. In December, there was essentially not a lot of action with our sports and clubs, so there wasn't much to report at that time. Let's see, the new business item that on the agenda was that the Spokane Public Schools had placed a replacement levy vote on the February 9th ballot. Dave shared the importance of this levy for LC extracurriculars could not be overstated. Dave shared that there will be many opportunities to support the levy and that we should all try to support the effort to get our LC families to vote on February 9th. General announcements, senior all-nighter. Joby is coordinating the parent group, hoping to offer a send-off celebration of some sort for seniors, and parents are needed for this group. The meeting adjourned at 7:15. No meeting planned for January 2021, and the next meeting, February 8th, which brings us to tonight.
And here we are.
Here we are.
All right, so we just had Dawn read the minutes to December's meeting. If you have any corrections, additions, or changes, if you just want to type that in the chat, we'll be able to see that. And then at the end of the meeting, under new business, we'll go ahead and make a formal vote to approve our December meeting minutes. That gives everybody. Correction. Oh yes, Dave actually wants to make a correction. So I'm going to just move over here. Let me just switch this so you can. All right.
So just some quick information, and we'll put a correction in the notes then. Spokane Public Schools was able to fund the whole robotics program. So we do not have to pay for the robotics. So we can go ahead and make that official.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, part of the school.
Yes, and I believe, didn't we allocate $1,500 for that? Yeah, so we had allocated $1,500 for that because we weren't really sure. We did know that they were going to make the request, but we didn't know how much they would cover. So we wanted to make sure that we set aside and allocated funds for the robotics club. So that's wonderful news. So we'll go ahead and get that adjusted in our minutes. And if anybody else has any corrections or changes, just like I said, use the comment section in either, if you're watching via YouTube, just type it in the chat and we'll see it. And the same goes for Facebook. So with that, the next report would be our vice president's report. So that's Chanda Hare, and she is not able to join us tonight. The one thing I'm going to say is that if you are a coach for a club or activity or a sport at Lewis and Clark, and you want to know what your choice dollar balance is, so throughout the year, a normal non-COVID year, we would have volunteer opportunities where you can earn choice dollars that you can allocate to your club or athletic team at Lewis and Clark. And since we don't have very many volunteer hours, those pretty much have been stagnant, and just the balances have been their balances since last school year, since the last concessions event that we were able to have. So if you are a coach and want to know what your balance is for your choice dollars, I have on the screen right now Chanda's email address. So you're welcome to email her and she will get you the update on your choice dollar allocations. So that is pretty much all we have for the vice president report. So the next step is going to be Candy. I'm going to just shift the computer since it's ever so easy. So just shift it over here and not make people too motion sick.
All right. Hello, everyone. We have a short treasurer's report today. So activity in January in the on the Square store for the Spirit Gear has brought in about $650. So cheering some fundraising going on. Nice job.
We're fundraising virtually. It's a great feeling.
So that's wonderful. And then we did make several payments, not only the payments that Dawn just read about, all the allocations and Need Child Fund and levy funding that we approved last meeting. All of those checks cleared. And then even though we haven't started concessions yet, we have officially applied for our food permit application.
Cautiously optimistic,
so
everyone.
Fingers crossed there. And then in hot off the press business, we also paid for the tax filing that we did make. And so we're clear with the feds at this point.
Yes.
So
The federal government is happy.
they're happy. So that's what we have for today. So our just for people's curiosity, maybe our current balance in our checking account, $45,945.23 for the record.
Perfect.
Candy, what did we have to pay for tax filing this year?
$675.
Okay.
So our Square store just
Covered our
Square
tax
store paid for that, and it was a budget item, so we had it in there. Actually, we came in $25 less than budget, so we can splurge on something.
Good old $25, everybody. Yes. And so everyone watching can thank their booster club for being fiscally responsible with our budgeted money. So well done, everybody. We came in under budget on a line
On
item.
a line item.
Yes, that's wonderful. Good job. All right. So next up is our concessions report. And I'm just going to probably just put the computer between the two of you guys since you, if you
Let's put it
notice in
under
the
the sign.
background,
That's
here's
great. They're
the,
selling those.
yes, we still have, this is your last chance to get a yard sign. You can pick them up in the booster
Book room.
club or the book room at Lewis and Clark. So it's in the basement of Lewis and Clark. So you can get these.
It will always be alone too.
Yes.
When we're virtual, when we're hybrid,
Yes. Well, it's timeless. You notice
Yes,
there's not a
timeless.
date on this. So they
Yes.
are timeless. Mine
you can
became
get it for
a
your
casualty
fourth
in
grader.
the most recent windstorm. So I may have to invest in another one. Yeah. So if any of my neighbors watching finds my yard sign and want to return it, that would be wonderful. So I'm going to give, other than that, concessions. So that would be these two lovely ladies over here, concessions reports.
Hello.
Square store.
Our square store.
Oh.
Do you have any?
Oh, Square Store.
Go for it.
So our Square Store in the next few weeks will have some new items as we are going to sell some LC collectibles. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be taking pictures of some antique collectible items that have been at LC, be it a uniform or Letterman's jackets to old sports tapes.
I want an
Lots
old
of-
Letterman's jacket.
Lots of different items. So please keep your eyes out for the new items coming, the vintage gear coming
Yeah.
to the Square Store. And that's it.
Perfect. I will post in the thread so that we actually, I don't even have to. See, look, I have all of my stuff pre-prepared. Your spirit gear is available now, which you can see the banner. And if you're interested in going to our Square site, I'm going to put the web address there so you can find the all of our spirit gear. So
Holly, will you post on the Facebook page or some places maybe just a few pictures of the collectibles to kind of gather some interest?
yes, the pictures will be officially to us in March. We have someone that's going to use something nicer than a cell phone to take some of those pictures because we're, trying to make it nice.
It's an LC
Yes,
mom.
an LC
LC
mom
mom.
is going to be making some nice photographs of some of those collectibles. So we'll be sharing those on our Facebook page and then having a link to our Square store if people are interested.
Nice.
So we don't yet have the pictures yet to share, but as soon as we do, we will be sharing them out there on
Awesome.
social media. So that's something new and exciting.
Yeah.
So, okay. So with that, then the riveting athletic director report is next. Okay, talk slow so we can take notes. Yes,
Yeah, I know.
There's so much to
I've got a
report.
question.
I see. Now I even have a little banner for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, welcome. So the good news in the world is that volleyball started today at Lewis and Clark High School. So that was exciting. We had about 60 girls in the gym. So that was great. Appreciate everybody that got their kids signed up with Family ID. Thank you. Right now, we've also got some cheerleading in there, and they're going a couple days a week. So we've got some cheerleading in there. We've also got the drill team coming in the morning. So things are opening a little bit. Football will start next Monday on the 15th. And then we'll follow up on the 22nd with both boys and girls cross country and then girls soccer. So if you have a football player or boys or girls cross country or a girls soccer player, make sure you get signed up with Family ID and also buy a GSL card. On the GSL cards, today, they were $42. Tomorrow, they're going to be $30. So the school district has decided to lower the price. If you bought a $42 GSL card, you got two options. Number one, you can get a refund, and the refunds will be coming to you through our business office. We'll send out an email, and then you can get a refund. Number two, if you'd like to just donate that $12, then you can. So how our school funding goes is our ASB cards pay for activities that we have at Lewis and Clark. For example, they're going to pay for officials that come officiate the game or the people that work the clocks at a game. The thing they also do is we fund each club and activity with a dollar amount. For example, drill team would get like $1,000 from the ASB so that they can buy some different things. All right. Boys or girls basketball each receive about $2,300. All that money comes to them through our ASB accounts. So that's why it's important that we continue to sell GSL cards, and that's where the money goes. So if anybody's ever wondering where the money goes, that's where it goes.
So GSL.
We have a question.
ASB. Sorry, ASB is GSL?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Synonymous.
Same ASB or slash GSL card, same thing.
And that's what it covers.
Okay,
Nice.
and that's what it
Okay.
covers.
Awesome.
All right. So all of our ASB money is what it's called. That again supports the students and their activities.
Yeah.
So that's where that money goes. So anyway, make sure you do those things. Couple other things, and then we'll have questions around the group. Right now we're in phase 1. That's where Washington State, it's called Healthy Road to Recovery. Those are made by the state of Washington. All right. Nobody in the school district, nobody at LC can change that. If we go to phase 2, then we can play games. If we are in phase 1, we cannot. And what that means is cross country, because it's an individual sport, it could run its races, which would be very different than normal, but they can do some things. Everything else can only practice in phase 1. When we go to phase 2, everything opens up. This Friday, there will be another report. We're all hoping it goes to phase 2. I have no idea if it will or if it won't, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So we hope it happens. All right. As far as when the sports happen, Spokane Regional Health, again, not the school district, not Mr. Hughes, said there will be no fans in attendance. All right. There will be no fans. Again, that is Spokane Regional Health. And so that's where we're at. Second thing is we can have cheerleaders, which is good. If we have a home event, we could have our drill team come and perform. So basically students, meaning people that are there for a specific reason, like a performance, will be in the gym. Any other students that aren't there for a specific reason, I'm sorry, you can't come. Okay. Remember, Spokane Regional Health District tells us that. So again, if it changes, we will definitely let you know as soon as we can. Last thing I have is we're getting some new cameras in our gym, which the system is called Pixelot. This weekend, they put the wires in, and we hope that those are up by February 15th. You'll be receiving some emails on how you watch a game on Pixelot. It is a subscription service, meaning it costs $10 a month, but then you can go to any games. The other GSL schools are going to also have Pixelot. So in theory, with volleyball starting on February 18th at Lewis and Clark High School gym, if the cameras are there, we would be broadcasting it on Pixelot. You as a family member could buy a subscription. I will send all this out in an email, and then you get to watch the game through Pixelot. Then for $10 for the entire month, if the LC volleyball team goes to Central Valley and they're playing in the Central Valley game or gymnasium, they will also have Pixelot. You can also watch them when we're at Central Valley. All right. It's going to be a universal platform for the Greater Spokane League. However, like everything else in COVID, everybody is doing this as we speak. Pixelot cameras are in high demand. People installing them are in high demand. And we've been working on it for about 2 months, and at least the ball's rolling. So we hope that hopefully we can provide you with that. Again, on the fans, I'm sorry. I know that people would love to see their kids. Of course we would. But at this point, it's just not going to be an option. So that's where we're at, and we'll do the best we can. I believe that we could do some other things besides Pixelot, like maybe some Facebook Live filming and things like that. We're looking into all that. We'll get it so somehow you can see the kids play athletics.
So we have a question from Facebook.
Yep. Question. I don't have my glasses.
Okay, so the question is from Allison. Fans allowed for soccer games since they are outdoors, question mark?
Fans are not allowed for soccer games either. Everybody's out of that area. The other rule is you can only have 200 people in any facility. So that's another rule, but fans don't count in those 200. All right. So even outdoor activities like soccer, we're not going to allow any fans in that area. All right. Spokane Regional. And then the other thing is, here's the real reason why. If a fan was in that area and that fan had COVID, and if 2 of you had COVID or something and it's found out, then it can almost shut down both teams because they're in an area where there's COVID. So that's the hard reality there.
This is for phase 2.
This is for phase 2 because we couldn't play a game in phase 1.
But then if phase 3 came, then would that be a whole nother set of?
Phase 3 is a whole nother set of rules.
But we're just trying to get to
Correct.
phase 2.
They have not yet even wrote down the rules for
Oh,
phase
okay.
3.
Nice.
We don't even have the rules.
We can't see phase 3.
We can't see phase 3. So I think you're just going to have to realize that
Phase 2 is the goal. Because
Yes.
we're phase 1.
correct. For the immediate future, the next month to 2 months, there will just not be any fans.
Yeah.
Okay. But we will definitely, when I talk with Coach Lamb, we will definitely need someone in the soccer field, for example, to do a Facebook Live broadcast. So we'll be reaching out to different parents, and if you would like to do that, we're going to need some people to do those things. Anything else for the group around here?
Yes, my husband just mentioned golf. Where does golf line up?
Golf lines up. So
Would it be the traditional spring sport, like you said?
it would. So our next sporting group is going to be the spring sports. They start the week of spring break, April 5th. Okay. And so that's going to be golf and tennis and baseball and fast pitch softball and track and field. So those are going to start. And then about May 10th, we would start gymnastics, wrestling, basketball, and
Winter.
slow pitch softball.
Oh, no.
Okay. The indoor sports, basketball and wrestling, we have to be in the mysterious phase 3 to compete, which again, phase 3 has not even been created by the state of Washington government yet.
But basketball and wrestling is that May, did you say?
May, yeah. So it gives us more
Yeah,
time.
More time to
Yeah.
get there. Okay.
The ones that we can compete in phase 1, so everybody knows, you can compete in golf in phase 1.
Okay.
You can compete in cross country in phase 1. You can compete in track in phase 1, and you can compete in tennis in phase 1. And again, that would be different than normal things. Like, for example, the track, instead of having maybe 8 kids running the 100 meters, you might have 4 running the 100 meters. They're spread out. Everything's spread out. So that'll be that. Last thing, we'll all ask for forgiveness. It's chaos right now, okay? We change the rules in the Spokane schools every 3 days. People are doing the best they can. And the kids have done great with wearing masks. We are mask only at Spokane Public Schools for all activities. Doesn't matter what you're doing right now. No one enjoys that, but it is the rule that we're playing by now. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. But the main focus, so everybody knows, is to get the kids back to compete. And that's focus number 1. Crowds and other things, that's focus number 2. We're just really right now trying to focus on, can we get the kids back in the building? Can we get them back from competing? Can we do something?
No
All right.
school the 15th.
Yeah, there is no school on the 15th. There is football on the 15th.
Okay. So come back from skiing.
So there you go. Football practice is going to be at 3:00. And if your gentlemen haven't been notified yet, they're giving out equipment this week. All right. So talk to Coach Joe Ireland. You can email him if you have questions about football. Anything else?
Is there a good turnout?
Right now, our numbers look good for
That's
football. Yeah.
Good.
So they've done a good job of communicating with parents and stuff. And like I said, volleyball numbers at 60 are very good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And so the kids are like, we're putting it out there with LC News you can use and our LC TV, and coaches are contacting people.
Yeah.
So anybody that needs information about sports, again, email davehu@spokaneschools.org. We'll get it out to you. All righty. I think I'm done.
Thanks.
Good.
And no more, I don't see any other comments or questions via Facebook or YouTube. So Allison said, thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to move into our old business, which is going to be tonight, the senior all-nighter. So Joby is going to give a report on that.
Sorry, maybe I could just hold this up.
Okay.
Hello, so senior all-nighter, we are now starting to do our fundraising, and right now, can you see that very well?
I'll take this off and then you should.
So we have a great Valentine bouquet that is a beautiful dozen roses, 15 pieces of Hallett's caramel chocolates, and a bottle of LC Senior All-Nighter sparkling wine, all for a great price of $100. So you can use our PayPal account, which I'll have to send up for you, or
I can put it in the comment section here.
yeah, and then so we have that going on for the next couple of days, and the drawing and pickups for that is this Saturday at noon up on the South Hill. We also will be having some pre-orders of sweatshirts, so be on the lookout once we get that all put together. And then we also have started a GoFundMe page to reach out for people who are not in the Spokane area, so you can send to your grandparents. And right now we are still just trying to do fundraising so that we can give these kids a proper send-off, considering all the changes and challenges that are happening this year. And that's it.
Have you switched the sign at Hartfield for the class of 21? Has it been
Yes.
switched?
Yes.
It was. Well, good job.
So.
Good job, class of 21.
I can do it. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Good job, Holly Lytle. Forget the sign switched. I don't know who got it switched.
I know.
Well, it wasn't
I think it was Holly that went up there and
My
switched that
job wasn't
sign.
switched.
Well,
and I thought,
no,
I gotta remind somebody. to
I was
switch my
joined
vote.
with Dominique Grant, another
Okay.
senior parent.
There you
So
go.
yeah, so we, as it turns out, changing a 0 to 1 is much easier than putting a 0 in there because of surface area and stuff. So it was not actually as complicated as we had been concerned that it was going to be. So
Nice work.
yeah, so I'm going to give some props to Dominique Grant and her daughter Macy, who joined me up there so we could get it all done. And then we had a question from Audrey. She wanted to know if the link to purchase would be on Facebook. And yes, I'm going to drop in those here. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at multitasking right now, Audrey, so I apologize, but I will get to that post, the link, so that you can find the information for the senior all-nighter. So so she wants the Valentine's Day link, so I'll put that in here just momentarily. Like I said, unfortunately, I can't multitask as well as I would like. So this is when have a technical support person would be so wonderful. So let's see, under new business, I had wanted to talk about something under new business, but what was we kind of covered it in the concessions. That was the Lewis and Clark collectibles that are going to be on sale soon. And in case you missed that, if you're just tuning in now, over the years, there are many things that have been kind of put into storage at Lewis and Clark, and it's just become an entire room. And so it has been, the items in that room have been basically are now to the disposal of I say disposal, but now Booster Club is given the opportunity to take some of those items and take pictures and try and sell them. So that's what we want everybody to keep a look at. We're going to sell them on our Square store, so you don't necessarily have to be local. If there was something that you were interested in, you don't live here locally, we could certainly add a charge to ship the item if it's something that's relatively easy to ship, like a picture frame or something like that. But anyway, so that was just something I want to make sure that we're clarifying there in new business, and we'll keep you posted. We're going to have pictures we're going to be sharing. So aside from that, general announcements was just keep in mind that we have kind of several things going on. One is that we have our spirit gear that is still on sale. I had the link. I'll also put that in the chat and make sure that I specify that that's for the Booster Club spirit gear for clothing, hats, and scarves. Also, our signs, our yard signs are also in our Square store. The other thing is just keep in mind we are Well, senior all-nighter group is totally different from the Booster Club. We are trying our best this year to support them because it's been hard for everyone. And, last year seniors, it was really hard on them, but I actually would say that it's harder on this year's seniors because it's, the focus was, there was a lot of focus put on our seniors for 2020. And so I would like to see that we put a lot of focus on our seniors for 2021 because circumstances are different and, hopefully they'll be back in the building soon. But for that reason, we're wanting to make sure that we share as much of the senior all-nighter information as possible. So that's the reason why you are hearing about it during our Booster Club meeting. So as we have information on the Booster Club, we're going to go ahead and share that with you guys. Once we have information on the senior all-nighter, we're going to be sharing it through the Booster Club so that we can help support them as much as possible. Darlene was nice enough to put a PayPal link here.
So I did also.
And I see that one too. So there are some links that are pasted and we'll just make sure that we... Okay, perfect. So one is to their GoFundMe page so that you can find the GoFundMe if you just want to donate for the senior all-nighter, which I highly encourage everyone to do that. The other one is the Valentine's Day package that they're doing right now. So there's Valentine's Day packages that you can order and those would be for a great gift idea. So Darlene's watching and they just clicked on them and it looks like both of them are working. So thanks Darlene for doing that for us. I appreciate the help since I'm not a very good multitasker. So just know that. And if you see things about the senior all-nighter, like I said, whether you have a senior or not, I would just highly recommend that we try and support them as much as possible because we need to really embrace our 2021 students.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
yeah. And then if you are watching and you are not getting our newsletter, be sure to, I think I have in my, I'm multitasking too much, but I believe I have a link for our email address. So if you are interested in being added to our email list, this is just shoot an email to this email address here and we will get you on our Booster Club mailing list so then that way you stay up to date on just, upcoming meetings and just things like the senior all-nighter information that we're trying to share. And also you'll get information about all of the goodies that we're going to be selling on our Square store that are those collectibles from Lewis and Clark. So with that, is there anybody else that has any more announcements before we go to our approval of our minutes from December? I don't see anything. So can someone please give me a motion to approve the modified minutes, changing the allocation numbers for the robotics club?
I move to approve the minutes as modified.
As modified. Perfect. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, so Dawn, in case you didn't hear that, that was Candy's motion and Joby seconded.
Thank you.
And do I have all those in favor? Raise your hand. I see all the hands in this room, and it's a little harder when we are doing these meetings virtually. So if you have an opposition, feel free to put that in the comments and I'll just wait for a few minutes. But I just don't see that the minutes would not be passed with this modification. So I'm not going to stress about that too much. One final announcement is that our meeting in March is going to be an allocation meeting. And once again, I'm going to encourage you to get those allocation requests in by March 1st. That gives time for our athletic director to take a review with those and helps us get all of our documents and our spreadsheets updated so that we're prepared for the meeting. So if we could get those by March 1st, that would be wonderful. And yeah, so March meeting will be an allocation meeting. Anything else? That's it. All right. Well, we had a few people joining us, and thank you, those senior parents that are watching. I do appreciate you guys helping me out by posting those links. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact and reach out to our email address. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end our broadcast. Thanks for joining us.
Nice job, Paula.